noise because
you have to wait.
Sometimes it sends a notification out straight away. Sometimes it seems to take ages, and I didn't announce this one because obviously I only said to you a while ago that we'd be doing it. So we will see if anybody joins. Yeah, you've got the live timer up there. That's generally a good way of indicating. Sort of, it's generally a minute. Sort of when you get quite a lot of people coming out. It says 12 now, so you obviously get people coming in 2 likes. Yeah, I'm good, Alex. You alright? Say hello to everyone. Alright, Peach? Yeah, so Bart's around here again, so ask him if you wanted to do another stream. So people might ask him questions rather than me. Oh.
It's always the first question. I do some of Liam's merch designs. I've been in a few of his videos as well. I haven't asked chess.
But, yeah, the only thing is with the stuff is obviously... hopefully Bart will get a new merch thing done fairly soon. Yeah. Is your live chat on? Well, you're typing in it, aren't you? So obviously, yes, the live chat is on. Yes. Bart is the guy that designs the merch.
So far I've only done the Mark V and the GP5 drawing. I need to get on it as well.
I think it only does live chat now on YouTube for the stream interface I'm on. You can't change it between live chat and top chat. It just always says live chat. Yeah, he did like art GCSE A level and a uni thing. Was it fine art?
Yeah, fine art degree. Which has been so useful so far.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if we'll have loads of people on this one, as I was saying to you, Bart, and just to say to the people watching, because I didn't announce this stream, because obviously it was more of an impromptu thing.
I think it's just a casual thing. So good.
I did send Mike a message to say that we'd be on, but I don't know if he's even seen it. So. I don't think I've got slow mode on at the moment. Depends on what type of the GP9 you get, Lucas, because GP9 PPM88 is the same mask, and from what I've been told, depends on which company manufactured it, because some of them made them to better standards than others. Mine's one of the crap ones because it's got the broken voice diaphragm. No, I won't put your face on clothing, Ryder. Oh, and now you're on the PC, are you, Pete, rather than your phone? You could start asking questions right from the beginning of the stream. I think the GP7's crap, as I've said many times. It looks cool, but it's a crap mask in terms of practicality. GP5s are actually honestly better. GP5Ms, because they've got the voice diaphragm. But GP7 could have been a good mask if they put nicer straps on it and the components were better made. Oh, the GP7, yeah, I was saying, they're not made to a very good standard, GP7s. GP5s and the earlier masks, as much as they were mass-produced, were actually made simple and effective, while like the later Soviet masks were kind of over-engineered. Yep. When will the S10 design be done, Bart?
Soon. I'm away this weekend, but then next week I'm very free.
You think you've got a load of guitars, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, I collect stuff. I don't necessarily collect gas masks, though. I've got a couple that I've used in like art installations and stuff like that.
I have to look that one up, Lucas. Don't recognise the name of it. Oh, it's just an industrial one, is it? There's different ones coming up when I search that one. So I don't know which particular one you mean by that. But there's some Moldex ones coming up and Sundström one, so I don't know which respirator you actually mean by that. You can, but I'm not going to be doing it on the stream, Alex, and I don't want to get snot or anything on the end of my vape thing. That's Bart.
Yeah, that's me. I'm Bart.
Yep, that's working now, Youssef. Basically, the issue was you had to leave the dosimeter pen in it for a while for it to actually charge. the reason the needle was at the far end is that's when it's like low battery or nearly discharged. So when I left it in the socket for ages, I could then just zero it as normal. But yeah, it's set to 1 Rontgen now, and I've left it in the sort of jar of radioactive stuff. Which do you mean by the P5 mask, Luke? I don't have a mask that's just called the P5. Do you mean the GP5? You can get those on Amazon or eBay. But most masks I always just get from eBay. Well, what do you mean if you breathe it out? As in if somebody exhales vape stuff?
So if you inhale it, then put a mask on, then exhale?
Well, that would just go out the exhale valve. But
Yeah.
if somebody's wearing a mask and somebody else exhales vape, then no, most of that would be blocked by the filter. That's German peach for the Bart, isn't it?
D Bart D.
Yeah. No one who speaks German.
Watch that episode a little while ago.
That's the Cape Fear one, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, because if you have a filter on the mask, the whole point is it blocks stuff, Mark 44. They're not even signs, they're just printouts, it's those ones. Mark.
Oh, I see.
They just, you literally go on Google Images or an image search, type in things like gas posters and things like that and print them off. So yeah, they're free. The only one I bought was that big Soviet civil defense poster about the masks. M65s are right, the M2000's meant to be good, but I don't have one. No idea, Yusuf. I get lots of very weird questions on these live streams sometimes. I don't always remember what they are, though. So out of all the different mask design things to put on mugs, would everybody like the S10 one before all the other designs?
I could probably get most of that done tonight, actually.
That'd be good.
The S10 is wanted.
I have had some people say I won't buy one until you do an S10.
Oh, okay.
But whether a lot of those people would buy
Okay,
one
yeah.
regardless, I don't know. Yeah. So I still want a picture for a shirt though at some point. I suppose some of those would scale up to a shirt anyway.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, they're real but deactivated guns, the Lee Enfield and the SLR. So they'd never shoot again, but they're real, technically. What, as in investing in Avon Rubber as a company? No idea. Again, you'd have to see what their current share price is and if you think it's worth paying for it. I don't really watch many other people, Martin, as I've already said before, with gas mask stuff on YouTube, because most of the time I end up watching videos on totally different subjects. Alright, yep, it's good afternoon here. Hopefully the aircon isn't too loud, because I've got my aircon on at the side of the room, just because it's like going to be a 32, 33 C day. So it's actually my room is the coolest room in the house once, which makes a nice change. I've got gas masks from World War II. I don't have any World War I masks, mostly because I wouldn't collect anything that I'd have to store really carefully and not risk damaging and all the stuff like that. And that's the issue with World War I masks, is a lot of them are very fragile at this point. Yeah, well, I work weekends and Bart works at the same place I work at a garden centre, but YouTube's like my main source of income, yeah, because obviously I do several videos a week plus streams and stuff like that. This is more like a hobby that you can get a bit of money out of, so that's while I enjoy doing the YouTube stuff. pH gas that I have is a replica, it's not a real one. Very sunny, Fico, no cloud, sunny, sort of 30 odd degrees outside. Houses trapping all the heat. So I said the aircon's on. It's nice weather, but you wouldn't want to be doing too much outside in the sun. He's saying, can you do a shirt with a gun? I suppose the closest Bart might want to do to that is doing one where you've got like a guy with NBC suits on and a rifle.
Yeah, I could certainly do that. I mean, I'm happy to draw stuff. It's all about maintaining that connection to exactly what you covered on the channel, I suppose.
But yeah, I think the ones that are there is just something like Mark III NBC suit with an S6 and an SLR, or like the Soviet style NBC suits with an AK and a...
Yeah, that's kind of what I had in mind.
What's the temperature there in Serbia at the moment, Fico? I imagine it's very hot there. Because I imagine it gets warmer than it does in the UK. But yeah, Thursday is meant to be the hottest day this week, and that's the day I'm out volunteering, which is typical because it's going to be out in the sun with no shade. I'm definitely going to have to fill up that canteen again, so I've got like a litre of water to just have on me. That was asked earlier, Wilderness System. He's got a load of guitars, but he doesn't like collect gas masks or anything. Yes, you're a couple of degrees higher than us, Fico, but yeah, it depends on the wind and everything, doesn't it? Because if it's really hot and there's no wind, then you feel it a lot more than... Yeah, unfortunately, I'm volunteering Thursday, Peach. The weekend, though, at the moment, I don't know if that's going to be rainy or sunny, because they can't seem to, decide on the weather. Not so much with Soviet filters. The only Soviet filters I know of that are meant to be totally safe are things like, I think they're called something like the BKF filters, and they're like industrial filters. But that's just because they have no particulate layers in, they're just like literally loads of charcoal and filter. Well, I don't know what you mean by the Canadian variant of the S10, but the Avon CT12 is my favourite. If you mean a non-Avon mask, then for Sheila F2A4 probably. Oh, actually it would be the F2, but I don't have an F2, I just have the F2A4. It's in the corner there, look, Luke. I think you're doing that on purpose. Because you notice there's actually masks behind me, so weirdly if they're behind me it means I own them, they're not green screened on. It's like when Mike does a stream, he has a gun board behind him and people go, "Those real." It's like, oh no, it's a hologram. They're just here, there, and everywhere where I can fit them around. Geiger counter. It's just the Geiger counter that you're in front of. That's fine. It's not even turned on or doing anything. All right, Maxi Hall. No, I'm not going to get any of that stuff down because the display's all organised. You have to watch older videos where I'm showing it, because if I risk getting those down, I risk knocking loads of stuff over or ripping the poster, which I'm not going to do.
I think everything here you've covered in videos.
Yeah, everything's covered in videos on there. It's just, now it's a backdrop. I don't like messing with it too much. I did get the GP5M down for a stream yesterday, but I got that down prior to starting the stream, so I could really carefully take it down and I had to rearrange everything again.
Did get quite a good deal on that guitar, didn't you?
Yeah, it's because when Blades and Bows were closing down slightly, so yeah, it was like 40 quid reduced from 100. But... No, that's a Bokken. No, I've got a Bokken, but that's just a normal katana. It's just got a wooden scabbard or sheath, whatever you want to call it. The Bokken is down here. So yeah, this is technically a wooden sword, but you see where we've used it, and it's got like gouges in it now and everything. But yeah, so this is the only actual wooden sword I've got. That's just a scabbard for the katana. No, I've already said I'm not getting the GP5 or any of the masks down, so the answer is no. Depends what country you're in, Maxi, and everything, because the surplus market varies all the time, but quite often you can buy your current military issue mask from your country, or previous military issue masks for like $30, $40 pound sort of price. So I'm going to move the band back on there to get the Suba, whatever it's called, back in place. Yeah, is it hot where you are, Maxi? Because over here at the moment it's like 30 odd degrees. You're on holiday in America, so yeah, that's probably hot. Well, it depends on what state you're in, I imagine. But the guns I've got, the DX, were bought from D&B Militaria, which is still around, but DX are really expensive now. So I kind of advise most people not getting a DX unless there's something they really want. A Saya. Yeah, that's why I said Suba just then, Peach, when I was adjusting that, but a Saya, okay. But yeah, they're from D&B Militaria, but the problem is now a lot of DX are like nearly £1,000 for a rifle, so it's not worth it in my opinion when they're that sort of price. Yeah, my room's 51% humidity and 26 degrees, but that's only because the aircon's on, which lowers the humidity and the air temperature. The other rooms in the house will be a lot more humid and hot. Yeah, even if there weren't gas masks or guns in the background, Rich, I think you'd be right. They'd be saying, get whatever down. Alright, Nazar. For this stream, I don't know if we stream in a full hour. We'll probably stream at least 45 minutes, I guess, which is another half hour from what we've done so far, but depends how many people we get on and everything as well. Don't store them hanging like that. They're just hanging like that because they're on display and they're cheap-ass Soviet masks that aren't worth anything. Store them ideally in their satchels, if you can, in a cupboard that's away from like heat and light sources so it's dark. No, I did do a gaming channel at one point, but I'm just not interested in really doing that as a thing. I stream games now and again on this channel. So it was a bit of an AK. So was it mostly just a receiver then, I guess, Peach? But I suppose if you're willing to put some of the bits on yourself, that's not too bad, is it? Yeah, cheers, Rich. Don't forget to like the stream, everybody.
I suppose you could 3D print the receiver. Or the, sorry, the
You have to be careful what you're saying.
Oh,
there,
yeah, good point.
3D prints and gun
parts. Just like the handguard bit.
Yeah. You can buy lots of them, they're quite cheap. Lots of DX sites sell like handles and all those, and they're often just like a $5 for the bits.
But that might be a slightly more cost-effective approach. But
yeah, but
not necessarily on match up.
Yeah, what Steve said, that probably is correct as well. You could get airsoft stuff that might fit it as well. As long as it's not like the airsoft ones where bits are built differently because they house the battery or whatever else. Because like in my M4, one of the motors sits in the grip, so its grip isn't a conventional M4 grip. Some of the furniture would swap over, I think, on a lot of those. When you say top right, do you mean that corner or that corner? Because it mirrors it. There's a GP7 in one corner and there's a Seed Gorman VistaVision in the other corner. Yeah, you could do it yourself, couldn't you, Peach? And that would be a good DIY thing to do. You make a sort of Khyber Pass looking AK by sticking loads of bits on.
I wonder what kind of wood they actually used.
They used that,
what would it be?
well, it's that kind of like laminate, kind of, where they compress loads of wood together, isn't it? I don't know what the actual...
Okay, so it's not quite plywood, but I mean actually just like which trees. Like,
I have no idea. It's probably...
Russia, yeah.
I mean, most things like that are often pine just because it's cheap, but... What do you mean, will I do a gas mask vid? The SLR's a favourite gun that I own because it's quite an interesting rifle history-wise. Yeah, quite a lot of them are painted or stained, Peach, I know that.
Yeah, it looks a bit like rosewood sometimes. That would be crazy expensive. You'd have a hard time finding that now as well. I think rosewood and ebony are two woods that they've started putting huge... In fact, rosewood might be banned now. No, ebony, there's just huge tariffs and stuff on it. I'm trying to stop people using it. Anyway.
Yeah, the SLR's in the background. I've got an M1 carbine, but that's over there where you can't see it on the stream. The PPSH and the RPK are down there. You can see the barrels of both of them just sticking out. But yeah, the SLR is probably the favourite of all of the X I've got. The Lee Enfield is the one you can do the most with, though, because the bolt and everything moves on that. No, I've never seen any gas masks that have flashlights on, but you could probably put like a camping lantern style, headlamp, one with a band around most masks quite easily. It's also a lot of people say, oh, they're bulletproof gas masks, but no, they're not. I had some kid arguing with me at one point on a YouTube video because he was saying there are bulletproof gas masks, and I said, all right, what model is it? And he's like, no, I know a site that sells bulletproof gas masks. And then in the end, he linked me, and it was blatantly, like one of those sort of dodgy sellers claiming the mask was bulletproof, and it was just a conventional mask. Sadly, you're probably not going to get S10 outserts for under £30, just because they're rarer than the masks themselves, basically. Right, cheers, Luke. I'm glad you like the videos. Yeah, I like the ones where they've put like shovel handles and things like that on the back of AKs for the stock. That's interesting, Steve. So yeah, Steve said, I don't know when you see the comment there, Bart, that they used to use balsa wood that they carved. They are now made by stacking thin pieces of shaped wood and laminating them with resin.
Oh, it's like stabilized. That makes sense. Very cool. Oh.
No idea, Yusef. Pretty much impossible to say. 44 probably isn't an awful price. Are they ones where people have 3D printed them, Maxi, or are they proper ones? Because don't pay that for ones that people have 3D printed that aren't made as well. Yeah, the GP7's a really badly designed Soviet mask, the one up there. So is the PMK one. Because they over-engineered them, and then they don't really work very well. Yeah, if they're proper Avon ones, 44 isn't too bad. Yeah, Bakelite's always cool. There's, like you say, picture. It's on the Polish Geiger count and radiation alarms in the background. Yeah, so if you're happy to get a 3D printed one, £20 probably isn't awful for them. But yeah, I know some sellers try and claim the 3D printed ones are the originals and like rip people off. But you can tell they never have like the good curvature or like the proper outserts still on the Avon ones. And that would be the same for like pretty much any brand of gas mask that has outserts. The properly done outserts tend to be a bit more curved and sort of have more materials in them, while the 3D printed one seems to just basically be a basic bit of plastic around another bit of plastic. Yeah, if I can find the bayonets in my drawer, because I've got a load of filters in here. Start popping these on the floor so they're out of the way. There's the old cool kind of, I don't know if this is a wood or a plastic on this one, on the Sturmgewehr bayonet. And my old, if I can find it, I should have a,
Have I seen this one before?
yeah, that's the Sturmgewehr 57 bayonets, the Swiss ones that you can still sometimes buy quite cheap. Just seeing in the drawer where the knives where I was looking for, because I have an AK bayonet in here, these German one, and that's Bakelite. Right, yeah, there's a Bakelite AK bayonet, AKM bayonet, these German one, because that's got the actual Bakelite on, but some of the other Russian republics and whatever use, or Soviet bloc countries, actually did the brown Bakelite. Yours is the brown Bakelite one, isn't it, Bart?
It is, yeah.
I think somewhere in here I have my VZ, there we go. The VZ58 bayonet, which has that really nice kind of almost wood pulp laminate stuff on it. Probably the same kind of stuff that the VZ58 had on its handguard. But there's not much stuff on the floor. Not loads of stuff on the floor. I just put some filters on the floor so I could get the bayonets out. It's French riot armor, so it's like kind of a vest thing that has padded bits on all the like arm joints and everything. I already said if you go on eBay you can buy GP5s really cheap. You can get GP5s on Amazon.
It's naked on Amazon.
Yeah, they still sell them with the
thousands and thousands on Amazon.
yeah, they still sell them with the asbestos filter on Amazon. So yeah, don't breathe through the green filter that comes with a GP5 for obvious reasons, but the mask itself is safe. It depends what country you're in and wherever, but you can pretty much always find GP5s on eBay. Richard says, have you ever had any silver tone guitars?
No, but I have an old Japanese one from the 60s that was made in one of the factories that put together a lot of the silver tone guitars. There's kind of a whole ecosystem of them back in the 60s. You had companies like Silvertone and Teespring, more than any others, kind of sold through catalogs in the US, but they're all manufactured in Japan. Yeah, I think it's a Teespring that I've got. But I've got an old Starway, like the old Pete Shelley one. I think Brian Eno was photographed in those ones too, but we don't play it.
What's that? You can use S10s for airsoft if you did put replacement lenses on them. Yeah, Gecko, that should be fine. But just bear in mind that band goes wrong. Just bear in mind there's probably other plastic bits on the S10, like the voice diaphragm cover, that if hit by BBs going faster, bits of plastic could chip off or whatever. But as long as you replace the lenses, your eyes won't get shot out. That's cool, Peach. I might get some more AK bayonets if I find anywhere selling them at decent prices. Yeah, I like Bakelite though, Steve. I know there's like issues with it compared to some more modern plastics, but I think if made right, Bakelite can be very tough in certain applications. Alright, Gabriel. The Avon CT12 is my favourite mask, which has already been asked once this stream. That's alright, yeah, just don't breathe through the GP5 filter, I said. I can't see it breaking the seal in any way, because obviously the seal is like the rubber bit around the outside of the mask. I mean, if, again, enough BBs hit the voice diaphragm, like the front plastic cover on S10, that could potentially chip and maybe damage the valves underneath. But I can't easily see it breaking the mask, to be honest. But again, it's up to you if you want to do it or not. You can obviously get proper airsoft masks, and there are other masks you can buy, which are pretty much all polycarbonate and really resistant plastics on the front that would be better for airsoft. Yeah, I don't have a Mosin bayonet, annoyingly. The closest I've got is that Lee Enfield, like, spike pig sticker bayonet. Yeah, Bart's got... You've got, I think...
I've definitely got... Well, it's not actually a GP5.
It's the Shum 41, because you've got it with these German carry bag. And somewhere, and he said I could have it when he eventually finds it, there's the Mark IV we converted, so like a mask like that one, the Mark IV, but converted to take 40mm filters, where we soldered on a 40mm Goss screw thing from a...
Sealed it all with steel epoxy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right with that, Steve. I think, yeah, when I've seen pictures of them, the top of the lips are steel, but yeah, they've got most of it's Bakelite.
Yeah, I'm very into vintage guitars up here. That's kind of my thing, I guess, hobbies-wise.
When you say contact lenses, I assume you don't mean for your eye, because I think that'd be pretty pointless, because even if you could have a bulletproof contact lens...
People would buy it.
Yeah, but I imagine if anything hits you in your eye at decent speed, it's just going to... Yeah, and your eye would just pop, basically, like a grape, rather than it stopping anything. Yeah, Jacob says, Bart, you into vintage guitars?
Oh, yeah, I just answered,
yeah. How many guitars do you currently have?
Oh god, well it depends if you count guitars that are in working order or that need work, because a lot of them are in pieces.
Let's say if you count all of the guitars.
All of them probably like 12. I mean, it's not insane, but it's a lot in terms of how much space I have.
And guitars cost a lot more money than masks and whatever.
I tend to get a guitar for as cheap as possible, like messed up, and then see if I can fix it up. But...
Yeah, I imagine it'll go for more than that Maxi. I won't bid on it because I've already got S10s, but other people interested, Maxi's just told you that there's currently an S10 on eBay that's being bid on that's not very much money, so everybody can throw their bids on, I guess, and drive it to stupid prices.
Favorite festival from the 60s? I mean, so those old fuzz circuits, I'm trying to remember, was it the Tone Bender Mark II? I think it was only, I think I've only heard it recorded on a couple of George Harrison's kind of, not even his solo stuff. I think it was even actually in the Beatles. They used it on a couple of songs on the White Album. But I really liked how weird that one was. And otherwise, I'm mostly into just amp tones. So I'm looking at people like Link, Ray, then, but mostly used actual amp distribution on the pedals.
Yeah, it's a British L1A1 SLR, which is the British version of the FAL. The what they call them imperial FALs, basically, not the metric FALs or the inch pattern FALs. But yeah, there's a couple of minor differences on them. But yeah, I'm good. Thank you, Timothy. You? Yeah, that's no problem, Luke. 6 electric guitars is still quite a lot, Richard. I've only got 2 guitars. I've got an acoustic one somewhere that's like a cheap acoustic one. I've got a cheap electric one. All of them would need strings changing and retuning, but...
Yeah, it's a lot of work. I feel like I've got way too many. Like, it's this nice mess around with them, but I want to put it and start selling things.
Jacob says George Harrison probably used the tone bender, but I know the Beatles used the maestro fuzz a lot.
Yeah, and they someone recently put out a pedal recently made to emulate the sound of the consoles that the Beatles used to record directly into sometimes as well. That was quite interesting. And I don't actually know much about the Beatles, though, to be honest. I just know a few things about some pedals that they might have used.
Oh, that's good, Steve. I didn't know that you could get those. Would that would still assume make the mask would still be airtight, wouldn't it? Because even if you take the voice diaphragm kind of plastic cover off the S10, it still works because that's just essentially a cover. The valve's still underneath there. So yeah, it'd still be a working S10, wouldn't it? It'd just be a better one if that was all reinforced with that.
Yeah, the DI emulator. Yeah, my exact one. The name is JHS.
Yeah, cool. Glad you like your videos, Timothy. That's Bart, who draws the merchandise. So at the moment we're pressuring him to draw an S10 thing and get that finished so we can order it on mugs and shirts and whatever else. Yeah, I stream most days, to be honest, Timothy. It's just I used to do videos every day. I used to do 9 videos a week, and that was too much work, so I went down to 7 videos a week. But now, because I work, actually doing a proper job at the weekends, I just do 3 videos a week now, regular videos that are always Wednesday, Friday, Sunday at 5 p.m. UK time. I've got some air pistols, and I've got some replica pistols, but obviously don't have live pistols because this is the UK. But I've got the Umarex PX4 Beretta sort of pistol. There's an air pistol, and I've got 2, ignoring things like Nerf guns, and I've got the Griswold and Gunnison Denix replica, and the Colt Peacemaker Denix replica. But yeah, I really couldn't answer the question, sorry, about what's the worst ammo, because obviously I don't do much shooting of other things other than air rifles, so I really don't know what brands are better than others. But...
And Peach, I do know the Dimebag Darrell while you're talking about. I've always wanted one. I've kind of been holding out and getting a wild pedal at all until I can be able to find one of those. Don't know if they make them anymore. I think it's dead.
Intel now, assuming until now, Mark 44, but yeah. I'm getting AMD on my next PC, not an Intel. Hopefully that should be Monday or Tuesday next week that's coming. But there's not been any update to say it's going to be delayed or come sooner in like 2 weeks now, so I'm hoping that's going to be like the set concrete date I get my PC now. That's cool. I really want to get Peach one of those Webley service pistols they do. But they're like 250 quid. I'll get one when I've got a load of spare money at some point. Yellow gas mask on the left. Are you looking at the Mark IV? Or the Mark IV is the stockinette brown one. The yellow one next to it is one of those really cheap Chinese half face masks with goggles that are absolute crap. I don't know of a mask called the Mark 44 33A. There's an SLR and there's a Lee Enfield up there. Well, I've done videos on all the masks that are in the Metro games I could ID. The main one is the GP9 or PPM88, which I showed in the stream the other day. My one's annoyingly broken, but that's the panoramic lens Soviet mask they did right near the end of the Soviet Union. Well, there's always more I'd like to get. The issue is the price of them now, because lots of DIACs have got to the stage where you're spending like nearly £1,000 for a DIAC rifle, which I really don't consider worth it. What I really regret not buying is a few years ago on D&B Militaria, they had G3s that were like camo painted, that looked quite cool, for like just over £200, and they also had the Set Me Model L rifle, which was Spain's first 5.56 rifle before they just started buying M16s or M4s, whatever they did after that. The Set Me Model L was really cool looking, and I think they were under 300 quid. I think they're like 250 or so. And it's one of those things I really regret not buying now, but I just think at the time I couldn't justify it when I had other things I wanted to spend the money on. It's one of those things where now there's none for sale, I really want one. Yeah, that's why I've got the aircon peach, because I spent a lot of money on it earlier this year, and then thought, fuck's sake, it's not even getting hot enough to justify it. But now, being able to keep the room, under 25 degrees or whatever, using an aircon when it's 30 odd outside, and remove all the humidity is definitely worth it. Were there any German World War II guns with like Mark 44 or something in the name? Because I know obviously like the Sturmgewehr, there was Sturmgewehr 44 and like the Volkssturm rifles and all those, but well, it's been 35 minutes, so we'll go for another 10-15 minutes or so, and then we'll finish the stream. Oh, that's cool. Let me Google that, Steve, because that might be interesting to do a video on, even if they're not too expensive. That's a weird looking thing. Oh, they're only £8. That's when you can get like the radiation symbol.
Is that just a plastic one?
Yeah, so it's just like, I guess, polycarbonate or something that goes over the exhale valve cover to reinforce it, so that doesn't happen to it, basically. Yeah, it's quite cool. I suppose it's just things people make themselves, but I wouldn't mind those getting some, like with the airsoft, that kind of airsoft mesh stuff, those. I wouldn't mind seeing if you could get something like that and
That's a good idea.
Kind of do a DIY one. I thought that would look cool as well. No, I don't think I've watched those, Jacob. Yeah, you were on yesterday, I remember. Well, it takes up shitloads of space, Mark 44, because I've got masks on the walls, in the cupboards all around the house, on shelves all around the house, some under the chair, under the piano stool, some piled up in boxes. So yeah, there's masks everywhere, basically. Not enough space. If I had my own house and I could have like the ideal thing, I'd have a massive room that I could have as like a display room for this kind of gear, but sadly I don't live in a sort of thing like that where I can just have a perfectly arranged room full of surplus. Yeah, does it come with a scrubber and everything? I wouldn't recommend you use an IP5 with the scrubber unit, but $25 is actually a good price for the IP5 itself, especially if it comes with all the accessories from a collection standpoint. Over 100, Timothy, I don't know anymore, because I used to have a thing on my PC where I had every mask on there, and every time I put a new mask on, it would put an extra number on it, so I knew how many masks I had. But then, unfortunately, when Windows 10 screwed my PC up and I had to format my drive and go back to Windows 7, I haven't bothered backing that up, because it wasn't really a very important file and I couldn't be bothered to do it again. But it was close to 100 then, and that's going back over a year now. So all the masks I bought since then have taken it well over 100. Does it have the oxygen bladder and everything, G-Man, even without the scrubber? Because even if it doesn't have the scrubber but has everything else, 25 isn't too bad. IP4s and IP4Ms are pretty cool as well. Yeah, I'd say it's worth it then. Because, yeah, the scrubber's a dangerous bit, and if you haven't got that, then it's kind of safe, and you could, as long as you open the valves, you could breathe through it and use it like a costume piece or whatever. But, yeah, $25 isn't bad for that at all. I don't know, ND Myon 767, why you're here, but you are here. No, there's 18 likes apparently. Now there's 19 likes. I think sometimes for certain people the updates don't come up. Now there's 20 likes that show you how many current people and likes are on. But yeah, there's 20 or so likes. Now I've not seen any of the John Wick films, and I wanted to, but annoyingly, when I decided I was going to watch the first John Wick, it went off of Amazon Prime, and they put John Wick 2 on there, and I didn't want to watch the second one without seeing the first one.
I watched both of them on plane fairly recently.
Are they alright?
Yeah, I really like them. It's kind of artistically gratuitous. It's good.
My channel picture is me in a British light anti-gas respirator Mark 1, the Brody helmet, holding the SLR. Well, my favourite actual proper combat knife out of all the ones I own is probably the Fairbairn Sykes, because that is literally a killing dagger. That's the whole point of it. That it's designed to just thrust really easily into people. But there's quite a lot of different sort of old military knives I like the look of. But I'm planning on going to Chernobyl next year with my dad because he wanted to go.
I want to go sometime.
Guten Tag, Suhelen, or however your name's pronounced. Or Guten Morgen, whatever time it is. Yeah, there's several swords on the wall. There's the arming sword. I'm not sure if I'm pointing at it quite right there. But there's the arming sword there with the flail next to it, or the early medieval sword. There's a saber up there. There's the katana there. And in that back corner there, which you might not be able to see, there's the rapier. You can just see a bit of its guard up there.
Jacob Buxton, I do own a Telecaster. I've never been particularly into Strats, but I think that's mostly because I play in a lot of different tunings, and messing with the tuning on a floating tremolo like that is asking for trouble. But I do like a Tele. Nothing wrong with it. Reliable.
Suhail, okay, yeah. I can understand what you're saying. If it's a German name, well, that's kind of ironic, but we won't go down there. I did show Bart Puppet Master the Littlest Reich earlier.
Quite something.
Yeah.
Quite something.
Collecting masks, probably 10 odd years, I should think, but there's no definitive start date because it depends when you sort of think, did you more seriously start collecting? Because obviously it was when I was 18 that I had more, when I was working a full-time job at that point, I had more money to actually put into things like masks. That's actually Arabic, that's interesting, but yeah. But yeah, I can see your point, yeah. There's a Lee Enfield up there, that's a World War II gun. There's an M1 carbine now, which you can't see, that's a World War II gun. There's a PPSH down there, that's a World War II gun. Richard said, what's your favourite songs to play on guitar?
I write most of my own stuff, but if I'm wanting to play something by someone else, I always end up defaulting to Dead Leaves on the Dirty Ground by the White Stripes for some reason. I think it's just that opening lick of the A chord. It's nice.
Can you wear one of those gas masks to Chernobyl? Well, I'm not going to wear a mask to Chernobyl because I don't want to be disrespectful or like weird like that. I'd have a dosimeter on me because I think I'd probably take my SOX1 with me, but I think most tours hand you a dosimeter to take around as well. But I definitely do videos from the exclusion zone. You can tell from my name, my YouTube name, how old I am. If you think what the 93 stands for, and I'm not 93 years old, it will give you a clue. Yep, there's an RPK back there and a PPSH.
How long have you actually had the channel for?
2012. I think it was April 2012 I started the channel. But what do you mean? I've got two GP5s. I think one's from the 80s and one's from the 70s. So that would make one of them 30, one of them 40 odd. The GP7, without looking, I can't remember what the manufacture date on that was. Probably some point in the 80s. Undead Popcorn said, what was the hardest song for you to learn?
Well, I guess it's like maybe not the hardest song I know how to play, but hardest at the time I tried to learn it was probably Several Shades of Why by Jay Mascis. That was years ago.
Jacob says, Bart, walk me through your amp gear setup. Give me a Premier guitar style review.
Premier guitar, I couldn't possibly. But I run a 1965 Selmer treble and bass Mark II into a it was just a custom-made 212 cabinet with two 12-inch hemp cone speakers, kind of this Rex ones from Eminence. That's what's in. And then I've got a late 80s Long Dash Boss DS1 distortion pedal, which I run with a Walrus Audio Julia tremolo, and pretty much that straight into the amp most of the time. I've got loads of different pedals, but I'm not always the pedals.
That's cool, Steve. Peach says, Bart, did you still want an old lighter?
Yeah, actually, I would quite like an old lighter.
I haven't shown you it properly, but I've shown you that picture of that Italian one. But
I'm so sick of relying on the wrong big things. Plus, I feel like all of my friends have cool lighters, and I'm always just there with some
So yeah, that's the Italian one that probably won't light because it's being annoying. Where
sharp the edges are.
Yeah, it's being annoying where although I did restore it and get it working, I think I might need to change the wick again on it and look into doing a different type of wick for it. But that's that one anyway. And then this was one that's quite cool. This is a modern one I bought recently, which is called a dolphin one, but it's made like the retro style like this.
Oh, cool. That's modern. That's so recent.
Yeah, it's very modern.
How much is that?
I think like £11, but I don't know. There's a fuel evaporator out of this one because it's not actually. It smells like I can still smell a bit of petrol on it, but why isn't it not lighting this? I mean, I know there's a bit of a breeze from the air. I don't know yet. Hopefully it's dried out a bit inside. I suppose it's been warm weather, hasn't it? That problem. Get some petrol fumes off there. Don't have petrol, kids. I'm just just testing it on. All right, cool, Mike. We're probably not going to be on all that much longer, but definitely say hello to you. People have mostly been asking. Fucking beach. We've mostly been talking about guitars. Well, I've not been talking about guitars. People have been interrogating Bart about guitars, and I have no idea what they're on about.
There's a lot of dates and names and weird numbers to remember.
Right, let's see if it works now. There we go.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Maybe the wick just got damp sometimes. So I don't know.
No, it's probably just dried out from the yeah. Yeah, I can't like out. Oh, it's actually. Don't drop it.
Oh, there's a bottle opener there too.
Yeah.
This is nice. Where'd you get this?
Just get them on eBay then. You can get them either in like silver, like that dark gold, or like light gold. I went for that one because it looked the most antique kind of.
What's that called?
It's just got a dolphin. I'll try to see if I can find you a link for one.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it came with a little bag and everything. I was going to do a review of this one today, but actually, yeah. Where's the Italian?
Is the lid metal? Sorry,
it's metal. I think there's a little bit of plastic there, but the actual body of it is all metal.
I mean, plastic's not necessarily bad. It's just where it's used.
All right, that's cool, Mike. Yeah, I'm just going to see if I can get this to light because yeah,
oh yeah, there you go.
Well, but it's normally a bigger flame than that, so I think I might just need to change the wick on it. Well, the problem was I had to restore it by changing the wick.
Oh, is that the one that you restored the other day?
Yeah, and then I think the issue is because the Zippo wicks are a bit too thick for the hole, it doesn't probably soak very well. Yeah, so I might have to see if there's like some kind of thin string I can maybe put through. I know string's not ideal for a wick, but...
That's an interesting question. How many subscribers did you want?
Well, when I started YouTube, you don't start YouTube with an ambition like that because that's never going to work. What you have to do with YouTube is you want to do it for fun kind of thing.
Yeah, do something that you'd be doing anyway.
Yeah, that you enjoy, and then the more people watching, that's great. But yeah, you do it in that kind of regard. I'm okay. I don't know why I wouldn't be okay.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know what the melted black substance would be. I mean, if is that actually on the mask's itself filter intakes? I know some filters themselves have like plugs that are obviously, the M1s and MC1s are pretty prone to melting because they're made from a crap rubber. The one I've got isn't the one that takes bayonet's height. Let me show you. There is that model because I've seen it. It wasn't the one I've got. The one I've got doesn't have the bits on the side for the bayonets because some of them have the bits there, don't they? And the bit there. This one I bought is just the one that takes the 40mm directly in the front. Yeah, this is surprisingly good actually. It's not as good as that Italian panoramic mask, but there's not too much distortion. It's built to a decent enough standard. Yeah, I'm sure smoking in a diving suit wouldn't work very well. Yeah, I think in Scotland they've made laws a bit stricter. I keep mine in the gun safe, Steve, but I think in theory it doesn't even have to be in the gun safe. I think if you keep it somewhere locked or it's hard to access, that's good enough. Yeah, I've done the video on it already. It's just not live yet, but yeah, it's surprisingly good. Not as good as the Spaziani. The only thing that annoys me is they put clear silicone look on this bit where the oral nasal cup has its thing, but they didn't on most of the oral nasal cup. So if all of that was clear silicone like it was in the picture, that would be really good because you get a better field of view. But unfortunately, restricted it. But it's comfortable enough. The other weird thing of this is it's only got 2 adjustable straps, which is actually one big strap in the middle that you just tighten at both ends. But yeah, it's surprisingly good actually, this. Yeah, it's a different strap design on it, but yeah, lots of modern masks have these kind of skull cap designs rather than using kind of the old-fashioned harnesses. I guess it's just because it's more comfortable and it covers more of your head rather than just having like a thin sort of thing going down the back of your head. PBF is one of the best cheek filter masks, but sadly, apparently, the filters contain asbestos, so I wouldn't advise you. It's the same colour orange as my shirt this back. I wouldn't recommend you using PBF filters, but yeah, the PBF is one of the best cheek filter masks in my opinion. Yeah, I knew the Scottish laws on got a lot stricter, but isn't there a bit in that where you have to keep it in a gun safe or something like that as well? Well, I'm waiting to get my new PC before I stream any more games because the last few times I've been streaming, I've been having crashes or like really bad heating problems on the PC. But I stream things like Fallout 4, Mountain Blade, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I've heard. I think there's some Australians were saying weirdly in Australia it's easier to get a gun license for some type of guns than it is for an air rifle kind of license, which is always a bit weird to me when they do stuff like that.
Shotgun licenses seem to be pretty easy to get places comparatively.
Yeah, well, it's just literally go to the post office and fill in a form for a shotgun. I've already got it ordered. It's just waiting for it to come, which will hopefully be next week because of most of the supplies parts basically sold out. But it's Horizon 9 3900X, which is the best CPU on the market until the Threadripper comes out of the current Ryzen series. An AMD 5700 XT, I think it's the name of the video card, which is in like the mid to high end range. But my current GPU doesn't really struggle with anything. So it's a step up from my current GPU, quite a big step up, but it's not like a 2080 Super or anything like that, but it's good enough. I'm getting a couple of SSDs and HDDs in it, 32 gig of DDR4 RAM. So it's going to be more than competent, but I mostly want it for video editing, not games, but it'll be fine for games. But I've never had a Karambit. I always get asked about them every stream, and I've never had one. The big thing behind me is a Soviet civil defense poster instructing people how to measure themselves for like gas masks, how to fit the mask, and all that sort of stuff, the different models of mask available, all that kind of stuff. It's just a civil defense poster, basically. But you'll notice that I've put masks around the poster that are the ones featured on the poster. So you've got a GP5 on both the poster and the GP5M on both that and the poster. The PDF there on the poster. The PTM ones that are there on the poster, the Y2K or the U2Ks, whatever you want to call them, one there, as on the poster. I don't have a PY60M, sadly, but I've got most of the masks that are on the poster. The triangle sign that's come away from the wall again at the bottom is a firing range sign telling you need to have a gas mask on. I think it's a Polish one or a Warsaw Pact one. But yeah, it's like where you have all the tank crossing and like explosive danger signs. That's the one for like respiratory hazards. Has Bart made any? I saw some hentai gas mask stuff yet. I can collect says because Peach wants to know.
I'll get right on it. It's what people want.
I'm sure it would sell well.
Yes.
Well, the masks all have different smells, but generally it's like if you smell a bit of rubber, like smelling a razor or anything like that, and then that's kind of just what masks smell like. Some smell a bit like car tires, some have fabricy, musky smells. They just smell like the rubber and the components they're made of. No, I'd have a plain emergency mask, but that wouldn't work unless you had it on an air line anyway. Yeah, Mike, you need to get that sling bow done. The slingshot rifle, you need to get that done. And you need to do the slingshot for me, Mike. And you need to do a video while you make it. Or else Slingshot Warrior won't be happy. To be honest, I think if you have so much stuff in one room, a lot of the time it doesn't really have...
I never really noticed it.
It's not a noticeable smell.
Surplus shops do always have that
Yeah,
smell.
surplus shops have that kind of musty smell, but
I think that's more of a warehouse smell.
Yeah.
Like a surplus smell, because I don't notice it at all here.
Yeah, I mean, what you're more likely to smell in my room is either like deodorant I've sprayed in the morning, I think, or if I've had like incense or anything else in the room, that's always smells stronger than the masks.
Imagine if you like put your face in one of the bags of the gas masks, you'd get that smell.
Yeah, but it's the strongest smelling thing I had recently, which you might be able to smell, is I opened one of these filters. It's just a particulate filter, but it was in like a sealed plastic bag. The smells dissipated a lot, but that had this really strong plasticky smell. Yeah, when I first got it, which is especially if you stick your nose into it and breathe it.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
But,
yeah, that's bizarre.
But yeah, it's like it's overpowering when I opened the bag it came in, but it was one of those weird things of But most of my I don't think Slingshot is in the stream, but I think we were just taking the piss, Mike, saying that's what we'd be constantly asking you if he was. The GP9 is also called the PPM-88. It's a Soviet panoramic sort of civil defense mask. But again, it depends which type you get, because there's different styles and variants of GP9. Some are better than others. Unfortunately, my one's got a broken voice diaphragm that at some point I'll get around to taking apart and repairing. But, yeah, GP9 is a kind of interesting mask, but as far as panoramic masks go, they're certainly not the best. Ballet songs are totally banned in the UK. You can have ballet song trainers, which are the ones with just like a blunt piece of metal in there.
You get like bottle opener.
Yeah, but you can't actually have an actual ballet song because for whatever reason the government thinks it's a scary knife, so it's banned. It's probably a similar thing then, Richard. I think you'd be right. I think that's what it is. I think it's just because the filter's been sealed. That smell's probably built up if some of it comes off the fiberglass in. Well, that one's not a fiberglass one. Mine's just a paper people one. But yeah, my 3M one has actual proper fiberglass in the plastic rectangular cartridges. Yeah. What do you mean? I've got a couple of masks that have dual filters, as in ones you have on each sort of side, like the cheap filter masks, the GSR, the M50. My CT12, you can put 2 filters on. But I've also got some duplicate masks, if that's what you're asking as well. Sometimes I've got a mask in my collection. Then on eBay, I might see somebody selling a particular mask really cheap, so I end up just buying another one, just because I'm like, that's a very good price for one. But yeah, in the UK, under popcorn, the law is basically, if it's an actual knife blade in there, like a real Balisong butterfly knife, then it's illegal, like totally illegal. It used to be legal to own them, but you couldn't like buy or sell them. So if you had one, from before they were banned, and then they were banned, you're allowed to keep it. But now they've changed the law, so they're completely illegal. So you can't even own it in your house because they've done a load of bullshit like that. Like there was a thing recently we were discussing, Weapon Collector was discussing with these, where we were trying to work out were the flip knives legal under the current legislation, because they've got some really things. So it was, if you did a wrist movement like this and opened it in one go, under the legislation, is that now illegal? But if you did this and then that, is that legal? But we think it's mostly all about spring assisted, but they write these laws in such a vague shit way that you can never tell. Okay, Richard. You can own knife parts, though, just don't put the knives together. So does that mean if you think you were going to get raided, you could just unscrew a bit from a knife and go on a separate component? Not that we'd ever encourage you to do anything like that.
Fully within the confines of the law.
Yep. Well, we've gone for basically an hour anyway, so yeah, we'll finish up just about now anyway. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for clicking the like. Yeah. Lots of questions that I couldn't answer for Bart regarding guitars. That's all double Dutch to me.
Well, we're going to go through a lot of gas masks. I'm hopefully going to do quite a few designs. Anyway.
Yeah, so night hype, have a good evening. But yeah, so yeah, I'll try and encourage Bart to do the S10 style one next, or keep reminding him to draw. And then what I'm going to end up doing is probably ordering a couple more mugs and shirts or something for myself so I can actually wear them in the videos. But yeah, I can probably do some as well, where with things like the Mark IV, not Mark V mug, even not Mark IV, and like the S10, where with a shirt I could probably have one above the other just for the combination thing if people wanted more than one on the shirt. The other thing I can't remember if I said to you is, you know that British Small Mammals poster over there?
Oh yeah.
Just to do like a variant of that with British Small Respirators, where you have like the British Warden, like the civilian duty mask from World War II, like anti-gas respirators, S6, S8, S10, or have like all those just kind of like just the names underneath them.
Kind of taxonomy of them,
yeah. So just because it would be kind of like a cool thing for a shirt or a poster, I think. But that's cool that there's actually a Soviet, well, I suppose Russia now, isn't it? Or Soviet that's NATO compatible. I wish they did that with more of their masks, just because that'd be cooler. But if you could easily get filters for them over here. But anyway, thanks for the stream, everybody. I'll be off. There won't be another stream tonight. I just did this one earlier in the day because Bart was around. I'll get a video probably filmed later today on this lighter because I've now got some more lighters to do lighter videos with for a while, which I haven't been able to do. But yeah, thank you, everybody, and I'll be streaming tomorrow, but it'll probably be late in the evening. I'll announce the time for it when I know when I'm doing it. But see everybody, goodbye.